Global Weather News, late September 2025. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's special global weather forecast. We bring you a comprehensive picture of the most significant meteorological developments now unfolding and expected to impact many regions around the world. With a focus on tropical cyclone activity in the Atlantic, unusual weather patterns across the United States, and the broader shifts likely in the coming days. At this moment, the calendar has turned into the latter half of September, right at the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. But what is happening is not exactly following the familiar script of past years. Normally, during September, we are tracking 2 or 3 tropical storms at the same time, or at least several concerning disturbances. This year, however, the basin has remained unusually quiet for many days, prompting questions. Could the 2025 season be weak and inactive? The answer from experts is quite the opposite. All the background factors, sea surface temperatures, monsoon trough structure, and the Madden-Julian oscillation, point to the current calm being temporary. Once the favorable window opens, particularly from late September into early October, cyclones could flare up again, and the situation may change dramatically in just a few short days. That is why today's bulletin will analyze the systems now forming, including Tropical Storm Gabrielle in the open Atlantic, tropical waves leaving Africa toward the main development region, and even the potential for homegrown systems in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. In addition, we will provide a detailed forecast across the United States, where extreme variations are underway, unusual heat returning to the Midwest, dangerous thunderstorms sweeping across the plains, and a new seasonal shift preparing to deliver much-needed rainfall to the southeast after weeks of drought. First, let us turn to Tropical Storm Gabrielle. According to the latest data, Gabrielle is sustaining winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, with central pressure dropping into the 990 HPA range. Clear signs of consolidation. Over the past 24 hours, satellite imagery has revealed stronger convection around the storm's core, with thicker thunderstorm bands indicating that the system is reorganizing after a sluggish start. Forecasts show that within the next 48 hours Gabrielle will reach hurricane strength, likely Category 1, and could even intensify into Category 2 with winds exceeding 100 miles per hour as it tracks north-northeast. The projected path brings the center east of Bermuda, but close enough to bring periods of rain, gusty winds, and especially dangerous surf and swells to the island. Residents and visitors in Bermuda are urged to monitor local weather authorities closely and to avoid marine activities while the storm passes nearby. The good news is that current models keep Gabrielle well away from the U.S. East Coast, and after reaching peak intensity, it is expected to weaken gradually, transition into an extratropical system, and eventually dissipate over the North Atlantic. But the story does not end there. Alongside Gabrielle, new tropical waves are marching westward off the coast of West Africa. Both GFS and ECMWF models indicate that between now and roughly September 27th, at least 2 of these waves could spin up and form cyclones. Some scenarios show these storms recurving early and becoming fish storms over open waters. But there are other possibilities: waves traveling farther west into the Caribbean or Gulf of Mexico, where sea surface temperatures are extremely warm and oceanic heat content is high, raising the risk of a powerful storm. Meteorologists emphasize that the period between September 20th and 30 is traditionally a prime time for strong hurricanes in the Caribbean and Gulf. Therefore, although conditions there appear calm today, complacency would be dangerous. Even a weak disturbance interacting with a subtropical trough or the Central American gyre could quickly evolve into a tropical depression. While the Atlantic gears up for renewed activity, the continental United States is also heading into a volatile week. A deep trough from the Pacific is pushing ashore on the west coast, crossing the Rockies, and igniting a series of low-pressure systems. In the Central Plains, strong thunderstorms are flaring up, with hail, damaging winds, and even scattered tornado potential. States such as Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and South Dakota face repeated threats of severe weather. Radar indicates the potential for squall lines, organized bands of storms, producing widespread damaging winds from Montana down to Texas. Residents in these areas must stay alert to late-day severe thunderstorm warnings and seek shelter when skies darken suddenly. In the Northeast, a cool air mass is maintaining pleasant conditions. With clear skies, daytime highs of 72 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 to 25 degrees Celsius, and nighttime lows in the 50s, 12 to 15 degrees Celsius, perfect for outdoor activities and early autumn foliage trips. However, valley locations in New England may experience dense morning fog, posing hazards for commuters. The southeast and south-central U.S. are enduring an unusual stretch of hot, humid weather. After a very wet August, many states such as South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama have seen virtually no rainfall since early September, leaving soil dry, crops wilting, and pastures turning brown. Relief is on the way. By midweek, a moist plume from the Gulf of Mexico will be drawn northward by a low-pressure system, delivering widespread rain. Between September 23 and 26, rainfall totals could reach 2 to 4 inches, 50 to 100 millimeters, in some areas. Bringing short-term drought relief, residents should prepare for localized flooding in cities and minor landslides in hilly terrain. But overall, this is welcome news for agriculture. In the Great Lakes and Midwest, temperatures will swing dramatically. Early in the week, many areas will see heat reaching the upper 80s to mid-90s, 32 to 35 degrees Celsius, only to plunge rapidly into the mid-60s, 18 to 22 degrees Celsius, after a cold front sweeps through, a drop of up to 25 degrees Fahrenheit within a single day. Such abrupt swings can be hard on the human body, especially for the elderly and children, who need to take precautions. In the West, Pacific states like Washington and Oregon are experiencing cloudy skies, scattered rain, and cooler than average conditions. Northern California and Nevada are seeing light showers, while the Sierra Nevada and Northern Rockies may witness the first snowflakes above 10.000 feet, 3.000 meters, an early sign that winter is approaching. Looking 7 to 10 days ahead, forecasts show the Southeast will be the main rainfall zone. The Midwest will remain unsettled with multiple severe weather rounds, and the West will continue under Pacific moisture. Meanwhile, the entire southern tier of the U.S., including Texas, Louisiana, and the Florida Panhandle, must be prepared for both localized heavy rain and the potential for sudden tropical development as moisture pools across the region. One more important note is the simultaneous occurrence of extremes. While the central U.S. is baking under abnormal heat, the Pacific Northwest is unusually cold and wet. This stems from an omega block in the jet stream, where atmospheric waves form the shape of the Greek letter omega, locking opposing air masses in place. As a result, on the same day, residents in Missouri may suffer through 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 to 40 degrees Celsius, heat, while in Seattle people don rain jackets in 58 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 14 to 16 degrees Celsius, chill. Ladies and gentlemen, all of this shows that the weather in late September this year is far from ordinary. From the Atlantic with Gabrielle and new tropical waves, to the U.S. mainland with extreme heat and violent storms, every scenario is in play. The most important message is vigilance. Stay tuned to official forecasts. Prepare response plans tailored to your situation. Coastal communities in the Atlantic and Caribbean must remain on guard for potential new systems through early October. Residents of the Central Plains must be ready to seek shelter during tornado or damaging wind warnings. Those in the drought-stricken southeast should welcome the coming rain but also remain aware of flood risks. That concludes our bulletin. If you found this useful, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing so more people can stay informed. And as always, before we close, we send our wishes of peace to all viewers facing life's challenges. Weather may be harsh, but with preparation and solidarity, we can endure. We wish you a safe evening, a favorable tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next forecast.